Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. Hi, hello YouTube. I don't know why I'm saying YouTube, but I guess I'm just gonna say YouTube. And welcome to a small, short tutorial video on how to use Raycast properly for Miku Miku Dance. Now, why am I doing this? Because I had somebody tell me that some of like the Raycast videos that are out there when it comes to tutorials are kind of lengthy. Also that they are very text heavy, so I have decided to basically take the idea of making a tutorial for Raycast and just, you know, explain it in the most simplest way possible on how I understand Raycast at least. So yeah. Let's just go. And also do not mind that we have a small huehuehue sitting right next to me. Okay, so anyway, first thing we want to do, if we were to ever load in Raycast to begin with, is go to our files, and then we get the Raycast stuff, which is basically just, what is it? It is basically just the Skydome, which Raycast itself has Skydomes. I'm gonna say and will recommend to use the Skydomes for Raycast. There's also something where if you don't use certain Skydomes, I think it's Sky Hemisphere. I think it's this, where you can basically put in like a different type of Skydome and it'll work because Raycast has like a type of like Skydome thing, material, whatever the bub. I will explain that later, but yeah. For this, I'm gonna be using Time of Night. Basically, whatever type of like Skydome you use from Raycast is basically the exact same principle. So, we're just gonna load that in. Another thing that I would like to recommend is, if you load in Raycast, is to go to the backgrounds. And use the model order display to push the Skydome up. And also the stage. Preferably. I like to push up the stage because if you have like a model that has like transparency on it, it would pretty much make the stage itself transparent and not show up completely. So, yeah. You gotta keep that in mind. Now the next thing you need to do is open up the effect mapping and basically do both vice versa. It doesn't really matter, honestly. And then you select all of your stages and models, go to set effect, and then select... We do not click this file, we go to the main one and click the main one. There you go, oopsies. And then we go into the accessory manipulation. And then we choose the Ray file, which is the X file. First thing we need to do after everything is loaded up is we go to the NV lab light mapping. I'm having a lot of stuttering, don't mind that. Then we go to the skybox thing again, Time of Night, and then we click on lightning for the light mapping. And it should look like something like this. Also, another thing to note, if you use Raycast and you have like spheres on, they won't show up. And a lot of my models use a lot of spheres. So, they will not show up. So yeah. Then we go into fog map. Fog map is basically on how much you want to give it a fog, which is also what you just get in here and click that upon. And onto the material map, and then you go and select, well, the material map. It will basically pop up the picture for the materials already. And then we select the material skybox, which will help get rid of whatever the hell was like surrounded from the skybox. And will make it look a little bit more clean. Something I have never noticed back in my day until I saw a certain tutorial. I don't remember what it was, but like it was kind of a revelation. So yeah, and the rest is basically just subtract, extract, and then you can just mess around of the materials of all of these. Now, there are some things to consider when it comes to Raycast, and that is basically, there are a lot of, like, add-ons for Raycast. I'm gonna try and see if some of these add-ons that I have, that I can link down in the description down below, because realistically, I don't remember all of them. But I know some of them. So I'm gonna see if I can, like, research them and then link them down in the description down below. So, yeah. The rest is kind of just time-lapse time because, I then have to, like, somehow figure out how to explain the thing called lighting, because there's this light bulb that you can have in Raycast, which is also an add-on, which is also something I'm gonna have to link down below. Woo! Fun! But, yeah. Anyway, let's just have a bit of a montage time. So, we're back from the time lapse. Alright, something that I should probably explain is what these materials all are. Basically, if you want to, like, give a certain part, a material, you either just double click it or you right click it, and then you select set effect file. Some of these files are things that I have put it in manually myself, which are the things that I've talked about early on. So, yeah, I will explain just like roughly what each individual thing will do. Basically, a clear coat is just, it gives you like kind of like a glossy coat. These materials, leather is just leather, rather shiny or just, you know, leather texture. TDA pendant is kind of like a very reflective type of material that is mostly used on the append models. Can also be used on some other models if you use it right. And textile is basically just like clothing materials. Cloth, I don't know what this does. It's kind of like basically clothes, I think. I never really used this one. Editor, I don't know what this does. I wouldn't play around with it. I never did. Massive is basically just glowing something up in like one color. Or, well, rainbow colors, depending on what you want. Hair is self-explanatory, is basically just hair shine. These materials are basically just like self-put-in materials from another creator, SodaWave. I will link their stuff down in the description down below. I barely use these. I only use certain ones left, like concrete and stuff, which is kind of like flooring and like environmental stuff. Metallics, it's just metallics like gold, silver, and whatnot. Programmables, basically water, where you can put in the water and kind of mess around with that. Skin is just the skin material, and the rest is kind of just to mess around with. Now we move on to the next part, because there's still more to add on, because You can mess around with time of night. I will not mess around with that. You can all play around because you can use these to your advantage, however you please to. I already have like a set, how do you call it? Kind of like a already set up motion, quote unquote, where you only need to load it in and then boom, already pre-made for you. Let me see. There you go. Just like that. And then you go back into Ray, you load in the Ray controller. And you can also mess around with stuff like lighting and stuff. And that's pretty much it for Raycast. Another thing that I want to point out is if you want to move around the lighting thing, you're gonna have to keep in mind that the moon that you're gonna see floating around everywhere will also move, and or the sun, depending on what Skydome you use. So yeah. See, there's the moon. Just sliding across the screen. Another thing that Raycast has is something called directional light, which is where you can kind of manipulate the lighting a little bit more, and or even give it more lighting. For instance, if I were to do this, it just kind of gives it like a purple lighting, a little bit ominous. So yeah, that was pretty much it for this tutorial. I'm gonna have fun cutting this bitch together, but yeah. If I should make any other tutorial about shit, just write it down below. I will see myself through them. And other than that, thank you all for watching. I hope this helped somewhat, and I will see you all in the next video. I don't know if it's an animation or whatnot, but yeah. Bye bye! God, this is awkward. Hi, hello! Okay, wait. Oh, this is way too fucking awkward. Okay. No, we're good. We're good. We can do this. We can do this. Okay. This isn't the first time I'm doing this shit. Come on. Feels awkward when you're doing it on a live stream. I'm not used to this. I'm very not used to this.